Welcome to Iron Arrows. As you can see, I am sweaty, I am full of sheetrock dust, I am exhausted, but my wife wants me to shoot a video, so we're going to do it.
On how to hang a fan!
On how to hang a fan. So this is what we're working on. We're hanging sheetrock, we vaulted the ceiling, we got the insulation in. There's no insulation in this house. Like there's maybe 1.5 to 2 inches worth of insulation up in the attic. So I put this blue board here. We're going to shim out the boards here, or we might just cover it with blue board, just to give it an extra layer until.
And the blue board was free, so you know.
Blue board was donated.
That's why
it was left over from somebody's project, and so they told us we can have it. So there we go. So anyway, we put it on there to try and keep the heat from coming through. It's still coming through, but we're going to sheetrock over it. And then when I'm all done doing the work in the attic, I'm going to blow in insulation, and hopefully at that point we won't have any more issues with heating and it being too hot. So anyway, back to this. We've hung some sheetrock, and now for the 5th time, I'm going to hang this fan. So
not today. It was just we hung it. It was hot, and then it only had a 4-inch thing. So now we have a 18-inch down rod, and then you had to take them back down to hang the sheetrock. So it might be the 4th time, but you know.
So to change out the down rod, it has a little clip in it that goes, and you buy you can buy them at your box store, the different rods, and they're made for different kinds of fans. So some fans screw in, some fans just have the clip. This just has the clip, but this could also work for a fan that has the screw-in one. So it comes down here. You have to actually run the wiring through. So I suggest taking off this little nub here, and it just has a screw right here that you back out of it, and once it backs out, it'll just drop down. And I'll show you the reason why we should do that in a second. So not quite, almost. It's just a little set screw to keep it so that it won't move. So then it comes down, and that little piece comes out. This little booger fits right in here like this, and it holds the weight of the fan. That's what's kind of holding it up. But the problem is when you're running these wires through this tube, most of the time the wires hit that and don't want to come out the other side. So it's better to just remove it so that when you push the wires through, they come out the other side. So then you take this little guy here, you're going to line it up with the hole, slide it through to the other side, right there. It's got a little cotter pin, and the cotter pin goes in through there. And it just clicks to the middle. Some people like to push it farther, but it really is made to go just right in the middle there. And then this one has set screws in it on the 2 sides to make sure that it doesn't wobble and move around a lot. So you're gonna screw those in, tighten it down, not too bad, but just pretty tight. And then you're gonna come back. The cover piece now needs to go on. If you don't put the cover piece on, and I've done this many times, don't do it yourself. If you are doing it yourself, don't do this yourself. If you don't put this on now and you get it all the way up there and you hang it, and you're like, oh man, it's great, and then you look over and you see the cover piece not on, you're going to have to pull everything back down, undo all the wiring, and then put that little bad boy on there like that. It just slides all the way down. And then you're going to take this guy, slide the wires through, push it on there. You're going to push this thing through here. And it's got a little, I don't know if you could see this, it's got right here, it's got a hole there, and it's got a hole there. So those are for the set screws. So it's in 2 different spots depending on the fan that you have. The fan that I have comes in on the 1/4 angle instead of the 1/2 angle.
It's a Harbor Breeze
so
fan.
You just screw it in. Just like I had unscrewed it, now I'm screwing it back in. And that's it. Okay. That little nub fits into this little slot. Okay. So when this gets mounted up there in the box, it goes in through here, and it will hold the fan up. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go up there, and we're going to put the screws in through here. So believe it or not, I do contracting for a living, but what I don't do, I always sub out hanging sheetrock. I hate hanging sheetrock. It's okay to hate something, but when you're on a budget trying to do things yourself, you hang sheetrock. So I know you're looking at this going, oh, the hole's too big. Yep, it is. I made a mistake.
It's okay.
I did. I made a mistake. But if you look at my holes over there for the can lights, they're perfect. So judge me on this.
Nobody's looking, honey. You should have brought it up.
I'm they're looking. They can see this, right?
I didn't
showing
even notice.
They can see it.
I didn't know.
So there we are. So
Can lights are perfect though. See? Hopefully I didn't just blind anybody.
Good. So
it's definitely 15 degrees hotter up here.
It is.
I'm not even
at
to the
least.
top.
So then we can go down here. We have to make sure the ladder is situated in just the right spot because this ladder is so high.
Oh,
it
hit
hits
the fan. Many times already in the last few days.
We're going to take the fan. We're going to bring it up here.
We bought the cheapest fans we could find. They were 49 bucks without the light. So we're like, we did can lights. We don't need more lights. So that way we figured can lights would be a little bit less breakable than those like chandelier bulbs. We have a ton of boys. So.
Construction right now for a non-profit, so that's why I have to do everything myself because, you know, non-profits don't make a ton of money. But I do like what I do. So always wire up the ground wires first.
Which is what color?
Green. And I suggest get these yellow wire nuts rather than going with the little cheap ones that actually come in the box. They don't work as well. They're harder to actually connect the wires to. So I don't like to use them. So. Oh,
we should include a thing saying, "I'm not an electrician. Do not do what I do."
Yeah, I'm not an electrician.
We're giving you advice anyway, but do not follow it.
I used to play one on TV. Well, actually, I worked for an electric contractor in California for a few years.
But do your own research.
Yes, before you.
Disclaimer: don't do what we're doing.
Do everything that I'm saying, please. Look it up on the internet because the internet always tells you the truth, as you can tell. You're watching the internet right now. But yeah, you could take a course or ask your local electrician. First thing you want to do is do ground wire. The reason why you want to do the ground wire is because if the ground wire brings the power from this, if for some reason I made a mistake and left the power on, and I started wiring this and the ground wire wasn't wired, the shock would be greater because the ground wire is actually going to take a lot of the power to ground. That's why they have a ground wire now instead of just the neutral and the power. So the next one you want to do is the neutral, which is the white one. And again, for a very similar reason, most boxes actually have the ground wire and the neutral wire in the same box. I mean, in the same bus. So it also will aid in you getting less of a dose of a shock. So plus there's no power.
Turn your power off first, people.
But always turn the power off, which I've already done, and I can see the power over there, and I looked as I was talking to you guys, and there is no power on. Now watch me shock myself and fall off the ladder. That would be pretty funny.
No.
I have done that before, not falling off a ladder, but I mean, how I learned to do electric was my own dad told me to wire up a light in the bathroom. And I didn't turn the power off. And so my dear old dad knew I didn't turn the power off. And so what he did was he allowed me to not turn the power off. And then when I shocked myself, because I had the power line in one hand and I reached over and grabbed something with the other hand, and I shocked myself and it hurt, he looked at me and said, maybe next time you'll check and see if the power's off. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Wow, you guys have a nice dad. He would never do that to you.
But he
But
was also
he
like
learned,
the
right?
guy whose brothers taught him to swim by throwing him into the Pacific Ocean and said, sink or swim. And he lived through it, so I guess he figured that's how he should teach us boys. So now this piece will come up, but we have to remove some of these screws first because two of them lock it in and two of them are kind of set screws that it kind of twists on. So reach around here, pull this one out. Come on. There we go. So here we go. This goes up here, goes up into the screws that are there.
And then you turn it.
And it turns just like that. Almost covers.
Whatever. We're really not going for perfection at this point.
We're not.
We could fix it later. We're just trying to get the house insulated and cool.
So that goes in there like that. To get to the other side, I am going to move this ladder because it's a lot easier to move the ladder than to reach all the way around. Now, when you're first putting up a fan, you don't normally
Sorry,
have
guys.
the fan blades on there.
Oh, yeah. Good
It
point.
makes it easier to wire it up and do everything with the fan blades off, and then you put them up later. So, boom. Okay.
Poor guy. It's hot. It's like 85 in here.
All right.
Is it not working? There we go.
There you go.
Boom.
Now,
One more to go.
back this away.
All right, you want to flip the switch?
See if this works.
Yay! Hallelujah!
There it is.
So
That's
is it
how
on the
you
high?
hang a fan. Iron Arrow style. So, if you liked the video, please give us that thumbs up. If you didn't, just go away. Don't give us a thumbs down. We don't like it. It makes us sad. And if you want to see more videos about our construction in our house, please
And our
let us
farm
know
stuff.
in the comments below.
Oh, yeah.
Please subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. And this is Iron Arrows saying goodbye.